Hey, everybody, this is John Scott, former Sharks All-Star MVP, and you are listening to another Teal Town USA podcast.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are, in fact, addicted to the shindig.
I love that song. Sorry to interrupt you.
Welcome to show 125 here of the Pucknologists on Teal Town, USA. I felt like last week's show was pretty positive. This will be the antithesis of that. I am AJ_Strong on the social media. Joining me tonight, Rocket Backhander. Oh,
I'm ready.
sip.
Let's do this.
And Hockey Jerk.
I figured we were just doing ambient noises of what we're consuming at this moment.
Are we turning this into an AMSR or ASMR, whatever that thing is called? Are we turning that?
And welcome to ASMR Sharks, where the hockey sucks, so we had to turn to some other content to find intersectionality and boost our ratings.
Oh, can we not?
For sponsorship reasons, I cannot reveal what snack I'm eating, so use your imagination.
Right.
No free ads.
Oh, well, here. I probably can just turn on your camera and see. There we go.
Yes.
Okay, now we got...
Sponsored by Smartwater.
All right. So, do us a favor, as always. Find us on that social media. Give us a subscribe with the YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like us on Facebook. Say hi on Reddit. Remember, if you got an iTunes account, we'd love a 5 stars and a nice review. And later in the show, I'm going to tell you about some Sharks goodies you can win if you listen using iTunes and you throw up one of those reviews. And in fact, the goodies handed out last week have been shipped. With the exception of Sharks Last, we have to meet up. So other than that, there you go. If you ever miss a show, want to catch it again, you can find us on one of your favorite podcast platforms. Shows are always available on our YouTube channel and at tealtownusa.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, you can use the Super Chat option during the live shows, or better yet, throw a little something in our Venmo tip jar at tealtownusa. And thank you for the support. So, this time around, we're going to talk about John Scott lighting up EK65 on the comments, Marc-Edouard Vlasic falling off the face of the earth, and Gary Bettman saying that mini-series may last for longer than just this season. But let's get into the Sharks games this week. A week where the Sharks played 4 games and took 0 of a possible 8 points, scoring 8 goals while allowing 14. Sharks remain 7th in the division after 29 games played, 11 points now out of a playoff spot. Let's see, 11 points out of a playoff spot, and you're more than halfway through the season.
Oh, fuck. That is not good.
No, it is not. So,
I don't mean to nitpick, but the Sharks actually got 1 out of 8 possible points.
oh, I'm sorry. You're right. The shootout loss. My blunder.
I'm just saying.
No, we about the facts here. We about the facts.
Hashtag facts matter.
Yeah, facts matter. All right. So let's see. The first game against Vegas, Balsers returns. That didn't last long. Dubnyk gets the start in this one. This was in Vegas, and they said that they were allowing like up to 9,000 fans. I mean, Jerk, you're down in that neck of the woods. It looked like there was about 900 in the venue, if that.
So they're only allowing 3,500 fans, which is 20% capacity. They will get to 9,000, I believe, on May 1st, which is May 1st is when the next kind of tier for events, for big events, I believe, is supposed to wind up. So I would say May 1st they'll probably get to 9,000. Or I'm sorry, May 1st, Jesus, April 1st. Calendars are hard.
You're right, fool.
And with more seats available, there's a chance that I may have no choice but to go to the April 19th game with Puck Guys. So we'll see.
Oh.
Oh, man. See, when you talked to Puck Guy about that, you should have told him.
I was just bullshitting.
So this
I don't actually live here.
This game was an odd one. The story of this, of course, being the Sharks got a good amount of chances. They could not solve Fleury. They only get 4 shots on goal in the second. However, and this is a theme that seemed to be all week. This is another one where the officials were a train wreck. I mean, tons of interference both ways. Nothing gets called. The refs didn't call anything on Vegas until the final 25 seconds of the game. And what they actually called, I was like, really? That's what you're going to call? I was like, man, that is ticky-tack. And it does speak volumes when Hertl, who isn't one to jaw at the refs, was ripping them a new one, Rocket. It was bad.
Yeah, I had to stop and think about that. Like that, I don't think Hertl has been, in the 6 years that I've watched this team, he's consistently been the guy who's kind of been positive and taken responsibility and, responsibilities with the team. He's never been that guy who's like, the officials fucked us in the ass. Like, he's never been that guy. So for him to be that guy, that definitely says that there's a red flag there.
Yeah. And speaking of somebody who would say that, no one falls easier than Jonathan Marchessault. I'm just saying. He would. Weasel. Yeah, he's somebody who would, in fact, say that. In the second game, a 5-4 loss. Now Balsers is out. Dubnyk gets, I believe, his 3rd straight start. It's a 5-4 loss. You detect a theme here where it's like lose by 1 goal, lose by 1 goal, lose by 1 goal. In this one, though, Pietrangelo, Stevenson, and Tuck are all out for Vegas. And Theodore, he gets on the board in the first 5 minutes. Wow, that's where have I heard that before when it came to the Sharks? Now that was one I thought Doobie should have had. But the Sharks score 3 times in the second. Nieto, Ferraro, and LeBanc, and you're thinking, all right, we're going to finally win one of these. And then in the third, Vegas scores 4 straight, including 2 on the power play. Kane would get one back, but it's not enough. And look, the top team in the division had to fight back to beat a cellar dwellers. I mean, take that, I guess, from what you will. The LA Kings, if you're listening to us live right now, the LA Kings just beat Vegas. So there you go.
Good.
Yeah. This is the one that hurt. This was fight night, funnily enough, of course, being in Vegas, because Hertl's got a fight. Couture has a fight. I swear to God, we had somebody on the team named Gabriel who did that, but I don't know where that chief was.
Yeah, let me take this one from you.
Here's the ball.
This will be, give me the ball, please. So, as you recall, 2 weeks ago, you could probably say I skewered Gabriel a little bit, questioning what exactly he does here. Thank you, Office Space. And then last week I walked all that back because, he was proving to be a good teammate, stepping up when he needed to. He was doing all the right things based on what the team has asked of him. So I walked everything back. I ate my shit sandwich and we moved on with life. Mm-hmm. Now we're back to 2 weeks ago because why in the hell are you going to put somebody in the lineup where it's like, okay, you're our guy if things go haywire. We need you to hit. We need you to fight if asked upon. We need you to just be our grit grinder out there. So why are your 2 best forwards fighting while you're on the bench both times?
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention both of those times, like I said, Gabriel was on the bench. Chief got off the bench and was playing cheerleader. And I'm like, dude, if you want to play cheerleader, like, there's a chair in the press box for you.
You're right. Go get a megaphone. Knock yourself out.
This is not to say, oh, Gabriel's useless because he doesn't score goals or kill penalties. No, Gabriel has a very specific role on this team.
No, dude, you had to go full take in there. I have a very specific set of skills.
He does. He has a very specific role for this team. There's literally like 3 things that are asked of him. And in the second game against Vegas on this past Wednesday, if you're listening live, he didn't do any of them. And, I said on Discord, and if you're not on the Teal Town Discord, you're missing out. But I've never seen a situation where somebody puts in more work and yields less results.
Well, dude, in 5 games played, Vegas on the power play, 6 for 19. Sharks, 2 for 13. Come on.
Dude, Vegas and San Jose have won the same amount of games at SAP Center this year.
Oh my God.
Like, that tells you everything you need to know. Like
Yeah.
wrap the show now.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. In 4 or 5 games, Vegas has got more power play. I just like, come on, Sharks, work harder, do something. Then you get 2 versus St. Louis. First one, a 2-1 loss in the shootout. Both teams came into it on losing streaks. Oh, by the way, Jones gets back in. Good for you, I suppose. Handemark comes out. Sorensen comes in. It's a tight one both ways until Donato comes out of the box after serving, their 15th too many men penalty of the game, it felt like. But puts it home from Sorensen and Hertl. Then, of course, the Sharks give up a shorty in the third after, in my opinion, EK65 half-assing a play with Bozak on the boards. And then, speaking of Gabriel, Chief, hey, he got a 10-minute misconduct, so we knew we wouldn't have to deal with him for 10 minutes.
Bring it back to me. Bring it back to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that addition by subtraction?
Dude, again, following it up here, you have a very specific role on this team.
I have a particular set of skills.
if you got a 10-minute misconduct because you fed David Perron his lunch, awesome.
Yes.
You're on my hot list for the week.
To be fair, you hate Perron, but go ahead.
That is true. But again, with your specific set of skills, you get a 10-minute misconduct for beaking the referee.
Like, that was your contribution the entire week to the team.
Like, yeah, you're letting the 2 best forwards fight against Vegas while you do nothing, and then the following game you're lipping off to the referee and get bounced.
Well,
Like,
I
dude,
have a
I'm just saying,
question.
you better, I don't know, like, if he wants me to praise him next show, something's got to happen.
Is he part Chihuahua?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
yeah.
I mean, just like he
In the
doesn't really.
in the words of
Mhm.
AJ Strong, I am unsure.
And here's the let's before anybody gets all wound up about this and
As if you're
clips,
not.
and clips this part of the show and puts it on Reddit. Curtis Gabriel, hell of a guy, great guy, and I would say in 2/3 of the games he's played this year, he's done exactly what has been asked of him. But like, dude, stay off Twitter, eat your potato in solitude, and do what Bob needs you to do.
Taters
And-
gonna Tate.
And to this whole thing where he's lipping off to the refs, and we'll get back to your point, AJ. This is not new. I believe it was on the John Scott podcast. Maybe it was on 31 Thoughts. I get them all mixed up. But there was an incident, not an incident, but when he was in New Jersey, same thing where there were guys telling him while on the bench, he's lipping off to people, hey, they get the point, just cool it.
Yeah. It's
So this
a
is
little
not
bit of
new.
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and again, this is an ongoing theme, and I just want to let you know, I do see some of the questions and comments, and we'll get to those in a moment, but not another one that it wasn't a good night for the Zebras. A lot of little stuff went uncalled, but then in OT, Kane completely got away with the hook. I don't understand how they didn't call Evander for that one. And then finally the Blues get called for hella dudes. And the Sharks have 4-on-3, and I think they might have gotten one shot off on that and then end up losing in a shoot. I mean, come on. Ugh. All right. Finally, 5-2 loss. Happened last night if you're listening live. Dubnyk in. Nieto comes out with the upper body injury. Balser's still out. What the hell's going on with him? Handemark and Suomela in. A number 14 wearing Suomela. So I guess he got rid of the 40 because it was bad luck. I don't know. Gabriel would get his second of the season to start it off. Dunn ties it on a shot literally off EK65.
59 seconds later.
Yeah. Kyrou gets in tight off a behind the net pass from O'Reilly. Hoffman has a snipe, noted Sharks legend Hoffman, but they get called for offside. And the Sharks outshot the Blues 11-5 in the first, down 2-1. Stick taps to Timo Meier, who found a streaking Hertl to tie it up on a breakaway.
That was a
Then,
nasty pass.
dude, it was sick. That whole sequence is pretty tight. O'Reilly would make it 3-2 after a bullshit face-off violation on Marleau that Dubnyk actually called Mickey Mouse. But as you can imagine, Bob Boughner, when it came to that call, Boughner had some things to say.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I think everybody in the rink, including their team, our team, I think is the other linesmen, the refs, I think everybody was shocked. It was a brutal call. It really, in my mind, it turned the whole game around. And, it took the game out of our hands a little bit there. And now we're playing catch up and trying to cheat. And, it's ridiculous. I haven't seen that call. I don't know how long. I know this year I haven't seen that call. So I maybe throughout the whole league. So that is that one hurts. But there's really no explanation for it. It's just a horrible call. But I don't know. I guess did he spun too early or something? I don't know. If I have watched it 3 times, it's completely fine. It's Patty Marleau, by the way. The guy's going to set Gordie Howe's record, and you threw him in the box and it affected the whole game. And just use your head.
Damn right. Boughner had some things to say. And I want to thank Sharks Last because this goes to show you how little I am paying attention. Yeah, Suomella's not wearing 40 because Dubnyk is. Duh. I didn't even think about that.
Two things can be true.
So Kyrou makes it 4-2 as EK65 performs one of his patented half-ass plays to the point that even Brett Hedican mentioned it on the broadcast. Then Perron made it 5-2 with an empty net on yet another half-ass play by EK65. So my notes from this one, as excited as EK got me last week, where it's, oh yeah, man, guys, okay, make me a believer, dude. In fact, what's the term, Jerk?
He was mowing your lawn last week, and now this week
dude, pulling weeds.
He fell asleep in the lawn chair.
He's sitting in the compost pile, man.
Yeah,
dude.
Somebody threw a rock in the turbine on the lawn.
No, I mean, he has a goal going directly off his leg. Okay, fine, weird bounce, but the empty net, that's him being lazy. It's I mean, fine, the game's fait accompli at that point, but dude, you're a vet. Lead the way. Show the little one, the younger guys what it's about to never say die. I don't know. White flag play to me. But anyway. So that's 4 games for you. Overarching thing of this, look, the Sharks had the lead in 3 out of 4 of these. That sucks. 1 power play goal scored. Allowed 4.
It's kind of shitty because the Sharks lost all 4 of these games this week, but I feel like for all 4 you could make the argument where in none of these games was it a situation where the game was over halfway through the first period. Like the Sharks were in all 4 of these games right to the bitter end, and I always say, it's they lost not for a lack of trying. I mean, you obviously correctly pointed out some misplays by Erik Karlsson, and that's not some secret, but the Sharks were there in all 4 of these games. They were there, and it slipped away. And if this was a full 82-game season where the Sharks are a good team, you say, it's a weird stretch. We'll come out of the weekend, and who cares? But
now it's playoffs.
It's a shortened season, and you're already a bad team. To have 4, I'm not going to say winnable games, but to have 4 games that you were in control of and you lose all 4. Mm-hmm. I mean, we said, I believe we intimated last week where, if the Sharks go 0-4, playoffs are probably done. And here we are. So,
well, we've reached 1 game over the halfway point of the season. Sharks, like I said, 11 points out after 29 games, 11, 14, and 4, 26 points. Last season, after 29 games, 15, 13, and 1 for 31 points. So what's, I think, even more concerning is that you can't blame being worse this season on injuries or players underperforming. Like LeBanc sucked last year. This year, he's one of the few that are living up to their deal. Sorensen, that's kind of a wash this year and last season.
He's at the very least he's consistent.
Yes. Maybe Timo Meyer kind of sucking a little bit more this season.
Yeah, but third on the team in scoring, so he's there, you know.
Yeah.
Which I think is the red flag for wow.
Yeah.
But poof,
I
you're worse, and there's been less injuries and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and I boldly said at the beginning of the year, you know, that the team will be better, and if you look at the standings, obviously that's not the case. They're statistically worse. But to AJ's point, and Rocket, I'm sure you'll agree with me here, where it's like you look at the forwards last year compared to this year, the forwards are leaps and bounds better this year than they were last year.
Oh yeah.
And so I have to think from a team perspective, you know, you're getting more offense from your forwards, at least it appears that way. You know, the goaltending and the defense needs to step up, and they need to do their part as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you think maybe that's why we've only been losing games by a point, or excuse me, a goal, instead of it being like a 9-2 blowout every single time, is because we're actually getting offensive production this year, and it really is just the defense. It's in shambles.
I would say so. I mean, it's like I said, even, you know, the team is not very good this year, but I don't think it's ever been in doubt where, like, if they say, yeah, we're going to come out, we're going to score 3 goals tonight. Like, even at their worst moment, I believe that. You know what I mean? And so, you know, you have 2 goaltenders, obviously, both of whom with a sub 900 save percentage, and the defense. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you look at Mario Ferraro, you look at Nikolai Knizhov. They've been really, really good, but they're not the guys that you're really you're wanting them to be really, really good, but they're not who you're expecting to be really, really good. You're expecting Brent Burns, Mark-Edward Vlasic, Erik Karlsson, and they're not. Unfortunately, I mean, if you know, if Burns could be dash 15 the whole year, but if he's scoring goals and getting assists, I don't really care. But he's not.
Exactly. And then to
I don't know. I you say that, but in last night's game against the Blues, that whole sequence that opened up to that first goal was all, like, I would say 89% of it was Brent Burns.
Could be.
So he's doing stuff out there. I'm not saying that he's not.
Well, look, I mean,
no, it's sure he's definitely doing things, but I can call back to even 2 years ago where it was like you put the puck on his stick and one way or another it's going in the net. You know.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And we're 11 points out. We're beyond the halfway point at this mark. Can the broadcast team stop with the, you know, they only need to do this to make the playoffs? Like, look, I get it. You're trying to market the team and everything, but enough with pissing on my leg and telling me it's raining. Like, you know, you have to call a spade at some point.
No, I don't think they have to. I think they can be, the eternal optimist Pollyannas that they've been contractually obligated to be. Like, nope, you know what I mean? Otherwise, they're going to get the old Spanish Archer, just like Drew Amenda did.
And you know what, Rocket? Hey, the Sharks, they might be 7th in the Western Division, but at least
they're number 1 in our hearts.
At least they went out there and tried.
All right, break out the home.
There's a trophy for that, right?
There's a banner. There's definitely a banner we can raise.
Break out the Bart Simpson meme, or GIF, I should say. So,
put up a banner. Went 500 against St. Louis.
There you go. So what do we look for over the second half of the season? And with the trade deadline less than a month away, you know, is Wilson going to even make any moves? I mean, I've been hearing some talk about the Canadian teams are interested in Marcus Sorensen, and of course I'm going,
take him.
Really?
Fine, get rid of him.
Yeah, I'm like, can we put a bow on him?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, how many times do you see, though, where a guy's just not in an ideal position, and when he gets into that ideal position, it works out for him? Like,
that's true. So Europe is the ideal position for Marcus Sorensen.
No, I know. You know, you're gonna get all these hooligans who say, "Oh, post-heel syndrome. Wow, I'm so mad." But it's like who cares if he's doing well for another team? Like, he wasn't doing well for the team you cheer for, so whatever, right? You know. And if some team wants to give up a 3rd-round pick for 0 goals, you do it and you run the other way.
Dude, I think I speak for the vast majority of Sharks fans about Sorensen when I say
Goodbye.
that's it. See ya.
Nothing personal, man. Just okay. Next. Thank you. Next.
Yeah. So coming this week, you got 2 versus LA. As I said earlier, just beat the Golden Knights. So they are currently 6th in their division. Although that jerk, you might have to talk to me about that one. That may have just changed.
Yeah, LA's now 5th in the division.
There you go. So they've moved up to 5th, and so over their last 10, that puts them at what, like 4-4-2 or something?
Correct.
Yeah. So there you go. But the Kings are 1-0-1 against the Sharks this season. Following 2 against the Kings, you've got the back-to-backs versus the Arizona team, formerly known as Jerks Yotes, and
We're taking this year off.
So the formerly Jerks Yotes are currently now, I'm going to say, 6th. Did
Yes.
they switch spots with the Kings? And what are they? They're like 4-4-2 over their last 10?
Yeah, LA and Arizona, they have the same exact record over the last 10.
Wow.
Although, I will check this out, though. LA +4. Arizona -15. We're talking goal differential here.
Yowza.
So, very
Wow.
similar. The standings will tell you very similar teams, but the goals scored and goals allowed, I think, tell a different story.
Dude.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, again, you're talking about same like record over the last 10. They're both 1-0-1 in the 2 games that they've played San Jose. So there's good news.
This and you know what? 0-4 this past week, brutal. But I mean, Arizona and LA, they're above the Sharks in the standings, but I think in a certain way you can make the argument that they're not a better team than the Sharks. Neither of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Sharks want a snowball's chance in hell at sniffing a playoff spot, they got to go 4-0 this coming week.
Well, and I'm interested to see what happens with the Blues as well, because those guys, I mean, they're who is it? It was Sanford? No, Sundqvist. Sundqvist is the one
Oscar Sundqvist.
Yeah, took that awkward hit, and now he's out for the season. They've had different pieces. And you want to talk about goal differential. Or not necessarily goal differential, but goals allowed. Yikes. St. Louis is letting a lot of rubber in. So
the Blue, and you know what? To their credit, though, they've got 4 guys on long-term injured reserve, 3 guys on regular injured reserve, and they're still 4th in the division. I mean, if they make it, it's damn impressive. I'll say that.
Yeah, I was going to say, get back to me.
Ranger.
Get back to me in a couple weeks. We'll see where we're at. Like a tiger in the chat, though, I like it for a banner idea. Throw up a banner that says, "We were tougher to play against." I really like it with the I like the question mark at that at the end.
I love, especially after I don't remember which Vegas game it was, but I just love how the broadcast was championing the moral victory and being tough to play against, and then in the post game Zoom, Couture is like, yeah, moral victories don't mean shit to us.
They suck.
I just thought that was a spicy meatball.
I love him.
Hey, speaking of spice, let's get to who's hot and who's not.
Oh.
It's going to be pretty quick, as you can imagine.
Says you.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say for this last week, it was it was a little, shall we say, brisk. Not a lot of warmth this week, but I'm just going to keep throwing it out.
Hot pocket at the microwave.
Yeah,
about it.
Very hot pocket where a little warm on the outsides, ice cube in the middle. But Mario Ferraro, a goal and an assist, and damn near took the team on his shoulders in Game 2 versus Vegas, trying to drag them over the finish line. Couldn't quite make it, but god damn if that kid isn't wearing a letter damn soon.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to peel that A right off of Erik Karlsson's jersey.
Dude,
Yup.
you right.
Okay,
But we have to remember that that's not something that's given just on merit and congeniality. It's given on how well a player knows the rules, because that person is the only person on the team that can interact with the officials.
Of course.
So,
but he's got
Excellent
such
point by
a
Rocket.
bubbly personality. I could just picture him going up to an official
it's
going,
not about
dude,
congeniality, man. It's
I know,
about
but
how
when
well
he
you
goes
do
up to the
rules
official
fast.
and been like, dude, you follow youngest of plugs, right?
Oh, no, referees are not. I mean, they're impervious to charm.
I don't know.
Snacks you can get them with charm. No.
Kid's got a lot of charm, man. I feel like
Really
he'd just like roll over up to the officials with like mini bag of peanut M&Ms, mini bag of regular, and just palm them both in the official and goes, "Keep it clean, guys. All we're looking for is a clean game. Come on, good calls."
You
Both
know, I
ways."
actually think that would work. I'm fully on board with this. If anybody's listening, get that done.
Right?
Yeah, let's do it.
In the last 4 games, Hertl posted a goal and 3 assists. So definitely, and first fight ever in his career. So go Tommy. Timo Meier, a goal and 2 assists in his last 4. And the only reason why I'm putting him on the hot list is because reports are he's drawing interest from Canadian teams, particularly Calgary. But Sorensen, you're hot enough that some team in Canada is. Did they legalize marijuana in Canada? Is that what's going on?
Some
Yeah.
parts of it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming must be Calgary is one of them if they're wanting Marcus Sorensen. Okay, anybody else hot for you this week?
So you said Timo Meier, which I agree with.
Meyer,
You said
Hertl,
Tomo-
Ferraro.
I agree with all those.
Yeah.
I got 2 for you, and then we'll throw it over to Rocket.
Oh, he's got 2.
Whip it out, whip it out.
So we'll go with the easy choice first. Kevin LeBanc, just solely on the fact that haters said he wasn't worth the contract, and he's proving to be worth said contract. But you know he's got 2 goals in the last 5 games. He did. I will concede he did take a couple boneheaded penalties in those games, but he seems to me just all around everything just seems better. Skating seems better. He's taking more shots. You know, he averaged, just looking here really quick, he averaged about 4 shots a game over the last week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're screaming at a guy to shoot the puck more, you want him to get shots. And
Can either confirm or deny.
right, and has cemented himself on that top line with Evander Kane and Logan Couture. So maybe the offense isn't there this past week the way you want, but I just think in general he's playing particularly well, so I'm happy with that. And then here's the under the radar one, the one where you're gonna go, huh? Yeah, that funny that you say that. His name does start with a D. It's Dylan Gambrell. Same as LeBanc, 2 goals in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
I thought again, offense is not there, but in the games where Hertl was gone, I thought he stepped up and played well enough to not be a total black hole in those games. Obviously, that was before last week, but he just seems like somebody who's making things happen. He's around the puck more, especially his goal in that second game against the Blues. You know, he had the offensive awareness to realize that it was sort of a danger zone over by the crease, and he gets the puck on net and it goes in. You know what I mean? And the faceoffs are not there. You know, over the last 5 games, he's averaged 38%, which is not where you want to be.
No.
But I almost attribute that to him taking more faceoffs. I kind of think it's just a situation where if you're losing in the game, you're probably going to lose faceoffs. I think if the Sharks win some of these games, I think he's killing it in the faceoffs. So it's just kind of a weird stat.
I'm going to be well, this is a contract year for him. I'm going to be real interested to see if the Sharks make him an offer. And if they do, honestly, I like the points that you're making, like defensively, if he can work on his face-offs. I mean, but the goals, it's, you know, at some point the points need to start happening, and maybe this is a case of, well, maybe how many times did like Chris Tierney, did everybody throw him over, under the bus until all of a sudden he was like surrounded by a little talent, and then he like broke it open.
I think regardless of what happens, I think Dylan Gambrell does need to. Well,
you think he gets like a 2-year like bridge show me deal for like, I don't know, 1.8 over 2, or
well, this contract he's currently on was that deal. You know, where it's like, okay, we're gonna get, you've been okay these last 2 years. We're gonna give you 2 more, and we'll see what happens. I'd be fine with that, just because even though his game is not where I think a lot of people want it to be, it has grown from where it was, and so I think maybe if it's a slow burn, I mean, as long as you get there. who cares
Yeah.
how long it took? But
I
the
feel
other
like
thing
some
that's-
people might be just like, okay, dude, you've had your time to shit or get off the pot. We got, Schmilevsky over here. We got Blickfeld. We got, we got guys that are ready. We're going to take a look at them because you've had enough.
and that's fair, but I would say the same thing to let him go for nothing, I think would be a misstep because, like I said, his game is better than what it's been. Who's to say it won't get better from where it's at? But also, the Sharks would really benefit from having him re-signed at the very least for next year because there are some pretty strict expansion draft exposure requirements. That's a mouthful that the Sharks need to fulfill that they are currently not fulfilling, and Gabriel would help them fulfill that. So it would behoove them to get them signed at the very least for next year. But
Okay, we don't need to do like 20 more minutes on
yeah.
Gabriel. Let's move
well,
on.
yeah, I was gonna say go to Rock.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, everything you guys said is correct. That's it.
Well, okay, so and then this makes the not hot real simple. Rocket, the officials, they were shit this week. Like every single game. It wasn't just one. It was, and again, I'm not blaming the officials for the Sharks losing any of these games, but it was amazing to see how bad they were both ways. And even the broadcast guys are going, geez, that was missed.
Okay.
This was missed.
So what that tells me is that there is something in the rule book. There is a specific rule that they got together and said, okay, so we have this rule in the book. It's probably like 9.2.7.14. That's usually how they work. And they'll be like, this rule says blah, 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 blah. Now, it can be interpreted a number of different ways. And we need to get some clarification on it. So we're all going to try to interpret it this way. So they make a slight change, a modification in the parameters of how that particular penalty needs to be called because it's not clear enough in how it's written. So they have to like kind of have a meeting on how to define it. This is like insider official shit. And so what'll happen is the first couple of games after they make this little addendum is that everything is just fucked because you're trying to make an adjustment that's like maybe an inch or two different from what you're normally used to calling visually. And at NHL speeds, it's not easy. So I'm not saying that they didn't fuck everything up, but the reason why they fucked shit up is because they're in the middle of trying to improve something else, and it's not something that they talk about to fans. This is how it is. Yeah, and the Sharks are the victim of it. I get it. I fucking get that. And as a Sharks fan, I can understand the outrage and the butthurt and everything else. But as an official, I get it. It's just, this is a fish tank, man. Welcome to the fish tank. It's eat or get eaten, and the Sharks are getting eaten right now.
Well, let's move out of hot or not into basically the hot topics of the week. But before we do, just want to remind everybody, if you would like to support the live show, you can hit us up with a Super Chat donation. Of course, that's only available live, but better yet, if you want to support the show, please do us a favor. Hit us up with a little something in our Venmo tip jar. You can catch us at Teal Town USA over there. Oh, boy, John Scott. John Scott. And in fact, John Scott, wait, who?
Hey, everybody, this is John Scott, former Sharks All-Star.
Yeah, okay, we remember. So he had some fun with Darren Drager's comments about Erik Karlsson. So let's just talk about these for a hot little second. Darren Drager, a host on TSN 690, asked Drager about Erik Karlsson's comments in which he said he didn't sign on for a rebuild. Drager answers, Doug Wilson is probably thinking the Sharks didn't sign on for 6 more years of the level of play they're getting from Erik Karlsson. And that got over to John Scott. And look, before we get into this, let's hear what John had to say.
Darren Drager reaches millions of people. And so he goes, well, Doug Wilson is probably thinking the Sharks didn't sign on for 6 more years of your level of play, Erik Karlsson. Just like shot across the bow to Erik Karlsson. Rightfully so. The guy hasn't done anything in his time in San Jose, and he's sitting there complaining that he didn't sign here for a rebuild. You're the reason for the rebuild, Erik. You're the reason Doug Wilson is having to do this. You are the sole reason. It's you. Not anybody else. It's you. There's a mirror. Go look at your perfectly coiffed pirate haircut and beard and mustache and just say, I'm the reason we're rebuilding. If you would have shown the type of player that you were in Ottawa when you came to San Jose, you might have a Stanley Cup ring on your finger.
John Scott is not one to, shall we say, hide his feelings. He called it out. Now, obviously, EK65, he's a lightning rod, and it's good clickbait. You know, I'm sure if we named every Pucknologists episode "Erik Karlsson sucks," our views would go through the roof. But is Scott off base blaming EK for the rebuild?
Yes.
Show your work.
Because Erik Karlsson is not paid to be a goalie. Erik Karlsson is not paid. Erik Karlsson.
You know what? Brent Burns isn't either, but he's still there.
No, but I'm just saying it. I'm.
Brent Burns
Erik Karlsson is part of the problem, but at the end of the day, you're going to go as far as your goalie will take you, and as we've seen the last 2.5 years, that is nowhere. And that's not to say that Martin Jones is the sole reason for the rebuild, but I would argue he's got more to contribute to it than Erik Karlsson does. I mean, Erik Karlsson, say what you want about how poorly he's played over these last 2.5 years. He's still been, frankly, I think he's been better than people give him credit for. That's not to say that he's been good. That's just to say
has he been $11.5 million good?
No, he hasn't, but I don't think Martin Jones has been, $11.5 good. And no, I didn't forget to say million. So I think Erik Karlsson is part of the problem, but he's not the problem. I look at goaltending. I look at the forwards last year and maybe even a little bit this year. I mean, hello, Logan Couture, no points in the last 5 games. I know you were hot before that, but you got to be consistent. And same thing, Tomas Hertl. I mean, he had COVID, and obviously that kind of messes everything up. But even when he was perfectly healthy, he wasn't exactly wowing everybody. And I think it's
dude,
everybody shoulders something to blame.
You know
it's not
what
just Erik Karlsson.
It isn't, but he's a significant part of the issue. When you're the highest paid guy on the team, of course the spotlight is going to be just a scotch bigger on you than other people.
But let me ask you this really quick, and then we can move on. What word did you say after significant?
I don't know. What did I say?
You said part.
Oh, yes.
Part of the issue. And John Scott is intimating that Erik Karlsson is the whole issue.
Yeah.
And that's not a point that I agree with.
That I would agree with you.
But you have to agree, though. I think all of us have to agree that he is the highest paid issue, which makes him the easiest sore thumb in the room.
Yep.
To whack a hammer on.
And
for sure.
And his attitude
makes it easier.
Yep.
To whack him with a hammer.
Okay, so let me ask you this then: when you say his attitude, what are you referring to?
Really? We're gonna go down this? Okay,
His
fine.
inability to
Let's play.
Sit there and say my performance over the last 2 seasons has sucked ass and been subpar.
Is it because he stiffed you for an autograph?
No, he never stiffed me for an autograph. I've never asked him for an autograph. Have I seen him stiff? What?
It's probably a good thing.
No. Have I seen him stiff kids for autographs and other people when there were like literally 2 people asking? And have I seen him do that? Yes. Have I seen him park in areas that are like flagged off that no parking zones? Yes. I've seen those things. Have I seen him show up to interviews late? Because, look, whether you agree or disagree, I'm a little bit of a studier of kind of, shall we say, behavioral issues. Okay? Mm-hmm. Typically, I can walk into a room in about 2 or 3 minutes. I can size up somebody pretty quickly and tell you, what they don't like about themselves, what they're proud of. In just certain things, you can tell by the way that people carry themselves. Whenever you see Karlsson kind of just, doing his thing, when he doesn't have the skates on and the jersey on, but when he's just got like the normal gear on, he can have, a long sleeve shirt. And what's funny, the shirt or the sleeve that's pulled up, because it's a lot of times it's just one side is pulled up. Why? because that's the side that's got the, the $6,000 rollie on it, because people have to see that. I saw Erik Karlsson basically blow off a couple people that were asking for autographs because he was too busy showing off his $250,000 Ferrari to a couple of the teammates. Like, he's a narcissist. The guy is a diva. I've seen him show up to interviews late because his time is more valuable to him. It's a behavioral thing. It's not thing that I'm going to say, I'm not bashing the same little thing over and over. I'm saying there's this and there's this and there's like, I'm drawing a behavioral pattern here. It's clear Erik is about Erik. When how do we all remember Erik being on the bench ripping Brendan Dillon a new asshole? We remember that, right? Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. And yet
I remember none of us sitting on that bench, but go ahead.
Yeah, but we saw it.
Yes.
We all saw it.
Optics were bad.
Yeah,
Sure.
not the best optics, but when it's brought up to him in an interview a few weeks ago about that maybe you should be maybe one of the things that would help out your game is being pulled off the PK. And he was very defiant. No, that's a big part of my game. I play it whether you guys see it or not.
That I will give you. The thing about you say he parked in a non-parking spot. This is a joke, but maybe it was you ever work for a company? Maybe this is just me, but you ever work somewhere and you're like, oh, I want to park here later. I'm going to put a cone in the spot so nobody parks there. Maybe it's the same thing.
And that whoever does that is also a dick.
Yeah,
no, I know
no.
that was more of just me poking fun. But you know who else I've seen stiff kids for autographs?
Oh, Joe Thornton, Joe Pavelski,
Patrick Marleau.
Yeah,
and you don't hear shit. I can't tell you how many times, at least 3 times, where I've seen Patrick Marleau dip out a side door and jump into his fucking mystery machine and get out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not saying Erik Karlsson is the only one who does it. I'm saying that it's just one of to quote Pink Floyd, it's just another brick in the wall.
Sure.
It's just one more thing that leads you down the path of this guy is a narcissistic diva. If he was out there spending more, like conversely, Brent Burns, I've seen that dude literally be in the ridiculously huge monster truck halfway out of the parking lot, and somebody is just walking, they're walking towards, the parking area, and they're holding up a Brent Burns jersey, and Chief will literally come to a screeching stop, wave the person over so he can sign it.
Yeah, and to your point, I remember there was. Do you remember that one season where he wasn't available to the media for like a week because he had like a flu bug or something? There was something weird with him going on.
You're talking about Karlsson?
No, Brent Burns.
Oh, okay.
And that he had the flu. There was something weird going on, and same thing. I actually saw him.
Vegas flu. That's what I call it.
No, I think it might have been before Vegas was a team, but
right.
I definitely remember like in my head because I was at this practice. Remember thinking, oh. Okay, Burns is sick. He's probably just going to get the hell out of here. And I don't think anybody would blame him for that.
Nope.
But to your point, Chief stopped, got out, signed it, and he bailed. So you make a point about it, but I don't know. I've seen other players kind of stiff for autographs, so I think dinging somebody for that, I see where you're going for it, but I don't think it's something that I would have done. But
hold on, dude. Check this out from Steve Rector in the comments. This is great. Just came into this late. But this is what happened to my dad. EK65 yelled at him when he asked for an autograph because he was showing Melker his new car last year.
Wow.
That's funny.
Now, I can obviously can neither confirm or deny that story. I'm not there. But based on what I have seen, I completely believe that story. So, anyway.
It's, I don't know. I mean, I remember, I've seen, I have friends who... I have friends who have photos with Evander Kane from a practice, and Chief is on his phone. So
Yeah, no, I haven't heard the greatest things about Evander either.
no, that's not to turn the conversation on Evander. It's just to say,
There
Erik
are
Karlsson's
others.
not. There are others, yeah, and like I said, Patrick Marleau dipping outside doors, Joe Thornton, popping the headphones in when they're not plugged into anything. I mean, we've seen it all. So
Well, and here's the bottom line on this. When you go in to ask for a photo or an autograph, you're going to, show up on a day when a player might not be having a good day, whether his coach ragged him out, whether the girlfriend didn't put out the night before. Wow, to just go full on misogynistic asshole. But I mean, whatever the issue is, maybe his, didn't have a good meal and his stomach's upset. Like, there could be a multitude of issues where for some reason that particular day Chief ain't feeling it, doesn't want to sign your tchotchke or whatever it is, doesn't want to take a photo with you that day. He doesn't feel photo ready. Okay, fine. So you try again. But then, after like 5-6 tries, at some point, after when you bring your ball to the yard, you throw it up towards the rim, you throw it up 10 times. If it doesn't go in 10 out of 10 times, at some point you maybe think, okay, this is not for me. I'm just going to go home. And there are some guys I've heard, Vlasic is notorious for cutting out. I've heard Pavelski is hot and cold. There are different guys that, they'll do it or they won't. Either way, I'm just saying it was one more example of narcissistic, diva, whatever. Anyway, I feel like we've gone on way too long on this. But we obviously talk about EK65 a lot. What about Vlasic? So recently a scout told our buddy Shang Pang that Vlasic has fallen off the face of the earth. The feet aren't there. He's not playing hungry. Now, I get that Vlasic was gotten for a steal for the better part of his career. And perhaps Wilson is giving him his cookies now, as Jerk likes to say. But, how many other teams do you know that are paying $7 million to a bottom pairing D-man? And he's on the books for another 5 after this. So I'm just someone needs to explain to me what the fuck Doug Wilson was thinking with these insanely long deals.
I'll just say what I said last time. You're looking at a decision from 3 years ago with the knowledge you have now.
Yeah.
It's and don't get me wrong, dude. You make a valid point. Vlasic looks sus. Burns looks sus. Karlsson looks sus. Martin Jones looks brutal. But I think if you do it all over again, I still think you have to sign those deals because the Sharks had good teams in 17-18 and 18-19 because of those deals. And I always say, it's depending on what side of the bed you wake up, it determines what you're outraged about. If the Sharks don't do anything, you want them to do more. If they do something, you want them to do less. I don't think it's fair when you say, oh, not you specifically, just in general, but when people say, oh, Vlasic's a nightmare. Why did we sign that contract? And it's like, well, jump into the time machine to July 2017. Chief was coming off a playoff round against the Edmonton Oilers where the Sharks lost and he held Connor McDavid to no points.
Who?
Exactly. Like it's you have to go on Cap Friendly, look at the contract, look at the date that it was signed. Was it bad at that date? No. Then it was worth signing. $7 million is a bit rich for Mark-Edward Vlasic, but I think about where the Sharks would have been in 17-18 and 18-19 had they not re-signed him.
Mm-hmm.
You're certainly not making a run to the Western Conference Final, I'll tell you that.
Well, here, look, I want to hit up a few comments because
hit it up.
Yes, clearly some of the things we were talking about were a little thought-provoking, if you will. Sure. So we talk about guys that will here, let's start off with Chris. Who? So, Chris, as an adult with no kids, I don't care if someone is less available than others if they perform on the ice. So, Chief better start performing on the ice. I do appreciate, and I think it needs to be recognized that Chris is starting to use the word Chief. You are welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Hockey Jerk.
As the chief of chiefing for Teal Town USA, I appreciate the words.
Yes, from Shark Sky 08. Do you think the Sharks are in the wrong for ignoring or being less able to take autographs because the team is general and bad? No. Nobody said you can't see a player right now because of the Rona. So I don't even give a shit about that. So anywho,
well, I will say really quickly, like about in the wrong for ignoring autographs, that kind of stuff. There, and AJ and I've talked about this before. There is actually a whatever you want to say, a clause in the NHL CBA that says, fans may not be what's the word? Unfairly refused when asking for an autograph. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the way I look at it is you look at it from like it's a job. You go to practice, you're snapping it around with the teammates and you're doing your thing. You're on the clock.
Yep.
You step out that door, get into your car. That's your time. You got a dentist appointment. You're meeting whoever for lunch. You want to go take a nap.
But
you know
jerk,
what I mean?
if we're both there, isn't it our time?
I guess, but
All right, everybody.
You go.
Okay, he didn't get the Breakfast Club reference. We get it. Chris also saying,
brother, I'm 26.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I've
Still
seen
available
movies
on all streaming media.
Yeah,
sir.
I've seen movies that came out before I was born. Get over it.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just.
I remember from Chris. I remember a time. Oh, Jesus. I remember a time I was on the far side of the quad. What is it? I don't know what he's saying. In 2012, wearing a Burns jersey, and Burns hit me up as he drove by. Dude, I mean that's. I was going to say that's the kind of guy Burns is. So again, polar opposites. Polar opposites. But anywho, now we talk about we're kind of slamming them. You know what? Let's talk about a guy who would do anything for anybody. This guy look familiar? Remember Brendan Dillon?
Brendan Dillon.
Remember Dilly?
You're going to make
Chief,
me cry.
Dude, Chief literally, you can see in this photo, Chief got out of his car as he's leaving the game to take a photo. So,
gotta entertain the whole charade brigade, I guess.
Yeah. Any hoodles. All right. We must move on. We are, again, we apologize to our affiliates. We're running along. Look.
On that, Damon, we're sorry.
Oh. All right, let's go. Around the NHL, everybody. So, okay, we got to blast through these guys. A panel of 17 NHL.com writers were asked about their vote for the Norris right now. To no one's surprise, Tampa Bay's Hedman is far and away the top pick, but would it surprise you to see that Doughty came in second? This is the same Drew Doughty that people were absolutely dumping on a month and a half ago for his contract, but all of a sudden Chiefs started performing, and look at that. Now he is second among Norris voters from NHL.com. If only EK65 could say the same. That would be nice.
Well, and Chief's on a shitty team, or at least what will be a shitty team, and he's on pace for 69 points if this were an 82-game season. So, yeah, he should probably be up there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's somebody who was, what's that called? Oh, yeah, playing up to your contract. Good idea.
Helping the team.
Carrying your water.
The day his contract expires and he retires, it's going to come out that he's been held together with zip ties and evil spells for the last 7 years. I'm serious, man.
So, and Sharks here. See, here's another thing I just want to say real quick. Sharks Last Knows says Dilly was a prince when it came to fans. I can confirm. I remember seeing him at practices come out. He would sit there and talk to people. Like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Stuff like that. Again,
I've got pictures of him being blindsided by some lady bringing her entire first grade class in while he was getting off the ice to skate and giving him posters and taking pictures. Like every single kid in that class, there was at least 20 kids, had a poster that they needed to take a picture of him with and everything. He just stood there and let him do it all. He was there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know what? And the one thing I've noticed about Hertl, Jesus,
Who?
Dylan. Yeah, sorry, I was reading something else. The thing I've noticed about Dylan as well is Chief will remember you.
Mm-hmm.
I the few times that I've gotten out to practice, I see Dylan. Hey, Brendan, what's up? How are you? Let's snap a pic. Boom, take a sign, whatever. And this was actually a quick little anecdote. I was
to be fair, you have a memorable look. I'm not going to
yes,
lie.
I do.
Okay.
But,
as long as we can all agree on that.
I had one of those programs from the 2016 Stanley Cup Final, and for those who don't know, it has like a little blurb of each player.
For those who don't know, he also has a box of 2,000 of them if you want one.
may or may not be true. It has a blurb of each player, and so I was like, hey, you mind signing this for me? And he was like, he's like, oh, are you getting everybody to sign it? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, cool. Fast forward, I don't know, week and a half. I'm there again.
Did you get those other people?
He's like, hey, did you get your book finished? I'm like, dude, I don't even remember telling you that. Like,
see, that's so cool.
He was just an awesome guy, and
Rocket's gonna turn off her camera because she's gonna start crying.
I was gonna say AJ and I from like 2014 to 2016, AJ and I filleted him on a nightly basis. But
dude, carved him a new one.
And I
won a lot of people over
every fucking night.
He won a lot of people over.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for Ferraro and Kanizhov playing so well, I think a lot of people would be, laying on their bed like Wolverine, looking at a framed photo of Dylan.
Absolutely.
And you know what? To wrap it up on the Brendan Dillon talk, Chief stepped the hell up, played so well, proved to be a guy. He's played with Burns, Erik Karlsson, John Carlson. These are not easy guys to play with.
Yep.
And you look at what he took to stay in Washington, he's getting paid from what the Sharks gave him to what he's getting now. He got a $630,000 raise to play with John Carlson on one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. You talk about a guy who loves playing and doesn't care what you pay him.
You right. Hey, did you get
the? You have to look at the tax rates between Washington D.C. and California, because he might be making a lot more.
Sure, but I still think the point stands, because Chief probably could have, somebody would have given him $5.5 million, I would bet.
Is the photo of Dylan behind you? Is that the one that you got from the Shark store?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. That was the one that was hanging above the entrance, right?
Above the entrance door.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, too cool. Recently, a headline from NHL.com had me giggling a little bit because it said, now let me read it for you in the way that it actually is written. The Sabres firing Kruger as coach, only the first step towards turning the team around. Stability, culture change must follow to get Buffalo on winning path. And the reason why I say this is because this sounds familiar. Let me just change 3 words. The Sharks firing DeBoer as coach is only the first step in turning the team around. Stability, culture change must follow to get San Jose on winning path. I literally replaced 3 words. They're all correct.
I just want to jump in here really quick just to make a point bring up a point Rocket was saying. For San Jose, the income tax percentage 50.86%, for Washington D.C. 44.85%. So pretty close. I would say his raise covers the difference, but still small raise.
Okay, can I ask you though to alter your camera back, because right now it makes me look like I'm about 7 foot, 4, and you're about 2 foot 8.
Sorry.
So yeah. Sorry.
4'3".
Yeah, sorry.
I escaped from the kids' table. Sorry.
And you know what, AJ? I'm fortunate that the Sharks are not in a Buffalo Sabres situation, but you're right. You change those words around and it's definitely a little familiar.
Yeah. There's speculation around the league, and Gary Bettman even mentioned it, that the mini-series thing is working. Where you get teams to play back to backs, saves on travel, saves on wear and tear on the players. As we get beyond the Rona and back to full capacity arenas, do you think the NHL should keep mini series as part of their scheduling? Now, obviously, it would just be within your division, but I say absolutely.
Yeah, I think it adds a whole other layer to the Lao to the dip. You know what I'm saying? Because not only do you have to see this team, but then the next night of the series, it's like you're like, okay, so that was all of the shit that we dealt with the night before. So these are all the adjustments that you're gonna make. So it's almost like it's heightened because it's not only you get to see the on ice product and the development happen there, but you get to see the coaching development and see how they're moving their players against another team, specifically the same roster on another team. I think that's a lot more interesting, and I like it.
Well, and familiarity breeds contempt. They said that
yeah.
fighting is up 46% this season. I think this is probably why, but I'm totally down with this, especially if the NHL is somehow able to figure out a way to do this the kind of way that they're doing it right now, at least when it comes to the Sharks, Friday, Saturday. Or maybe you try to do it like a Saturday, Sunday thing. So that way it actually kind of gooses the tourism aspect of it. Like, could you imagine being an Edmonton fan and you're like looking at the calendar in the dead of January when it's, 23 below in Edmonton, and you're going, hey, the Oilers are playing in San Jose next Saturday and Sunday, or in 3 months they're going to play. And so when you first get that schedule, let's go watch both games. 2 games in San Jose. We'll get out of the frigidness. We'll get to like 55, 60 degree high instead of 0. But dude, I am so down with this. If you were going to tell me that, oh hey AJ, you're not going to believe this, but next season the Sharks playing in Anaheim Saturday and Sunday back to back. Oh, dude, I'm buying the tickets. I'm driving down that morning. Dude, I'm driving down Friday morning, fucking around LA, seeing, hooking up, seeing some friends, go to Santa Monica, go to Venice, check out all that. Boom, head down to the OC, watch me a little Anaheim Duck hockey at the Ponda. Boom. I'm back Monday morning to work, and I'm feeling great. Come on, make it happen, Gary Bettman. I think this is something that could be fantastic. And speaking of Anaheim, can just for a second we talk about the reverse retro goalie masks? Oh, chef's kiss. You love to see it.
Ooh.
Those are pretty killer.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, these are
Wow.
tight. I so wish the Sharks would have gone retro with their masks on a level like this. Dude, are you kidding? I don't know what these, I'm sure at some point will sell, and they are going to, dude, we're talking 5, 6, maybe $7,000. Easy. Put that, dude, if I'm the Ducks, I'm putting out like a series of these.
That eggplant really looks nice.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. Let me just take a quick look at the time. Yeah, okay. This might be a smoke 'em if you got 'em thing, because I get the feeling that Jerk and Rocket are going to bang one out. If you will. Or this could happen really quick. Here's the headline. Here is the headline.
Sir?
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right,
he's got a
calm
girlfriend,
down. TSN's Gord Miller had a little Twitter rant about, I don't want to associate with anything Barstool Sports.
Well, okay.
Oh, okay.
Let
I'm
me
not
interrupt.
done. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not
Wait.
done. Let me
Let's
finish. Let me
Okay.
finish. I know the Spit and Chicklets podcast is part of Barstool, and I hear pieces of their stuff on occasion. I'm not a Barstool guy. I'm not familiar with the brand. I looked at their website earlier this week when I was putting together the rundown, and it's one of the worst looking websites I've ever seen. It looks like somebody put it together as like a high school project or something. So Jerk, we'll start with you. What is this all about? Gord Miller, what is Barstool about? Let's hear it, guys. Smoke him if you got him, everybody.
Yeah, so basically, here's the short version: is Barstool?
I'm
it's
sorry,
a sports
sir. Have you
website.
ever heard this podcast? We don't do the short version here, but go ahead.
It's a sports website. It's a network that hosts a bunch of podcasts, and yada, yada, yada. That's pretty much the extent of it. And so Gord Miller was doing an AMA, and he was asked, hey, why aren't you going to be, or when are you going to be on Spit and Chicklets? And he said, I love those guys, but because they're associated with Barstool, I just don't have any desire to do anything involving Barstool. And AJ says rant, but literally that was it. That's all he said.
Well, you're right. Everybody else said that, I can't believe he ranted about that. And it's like, actually, he was just clarifying what he said, but go ahead.
Yeah, and that's all he said was just, I don't want to associate with them. He didn't say anything defamatory or anything like that. And so their owner, Dave Portnoy, basically said, oh, people like Gord Miller, they always hate all the good things I'm doing, and they don't like, they just whatever. They want to take down my brand and all this stuff. And
Dave Portnoy. Yeah,
and so Gord Miller came out and he said, he basically said, not wanting to associate with Barstool, it's prompted a lot of correspondence. My problem with them is their unapologetic misogyny, racism, xenophobia, and condoning non-consensual sex.
Yep.
And, basically saying, if you want to show me points to the contrary, like, let's talk about it. And, of course, all of the, guys who've got the Saturdays are for the boys flag above their couch sprung into action and basically said, oh, Gord Miller doesn't get it. You're just part of the woke police, and we're gonna come fucking get you. Yeah, there were some people who said, "Oh, I would kill this guy for you, Dave Portnoy," and it's like, what is wrong? And it's just wild to me. And here's the thing, Barstool, they've done some good things. Portnoy organized a fund to give money to small businesses who were closed because of COVID. That's a very good thing. But the reason for doing it is shady, because it was all framed as, oh, we're going to prove that we're better than politicians who want to control you and not let you operate without masks and da-da-da-da. And, these same frat boys and who have the flag over their couch, as I mentioned, they all want to say, oh, Barstools, they've done all this, they've done all this good stuff. How can you say this about them? And it's like the point that Gord and his daughter and a few other people have made on Twitter is that, you can say Barstool has done good things and still not excuse them for putting out racist, misogynistic, xenophobic content. Let's not forget, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but this is the same organization that said Colin Kaepernick didn't resonate with black people because he didn't look full black. This is the same organization that posted one of their podcasts had an episode that had the N-word in the title. This is the same organization that said that Colin Kaepernick looked like he was from Al-Qaeda.
And now
I'm just saying, you can say that they've done good things and call them out on their bullshit. Two things can be true. Rocket.
All right, and
AJ,
I was going to say, and now we throw to Rocket, who will now be sponsoring this segment. I have some things to say.
No, everything Jerk just said is succinct and on the point, and I don't have anything to add to that that won't make me look like an inflammatory beast. Because I am exactly the kind of person that anybody from Barstool would love to set on fire and torch in the middle of the street and laugh at. Like, that's seriously the level of misogyny that goes on over there. It has nothing to do with how I feel about sports. It has nothing to do with my opinion on anything. The fact is, anything I would say to them, if I wasn't emotionally filleting them, let's say, I would be burnt at the stake and said that I was, I was frigid, I was a witch, I was all sorts of terrible things, I was mean, and just because I'm a woman. And so I
What do you mean you don't want to blow me, Rocket?
Exactly. So I don't I just don't need to be
I'm offended
in that kind of I can't be in that kind of toxic environment, because it just leads to a lot of not even microaggressions, but like bullshit aggressions. And then it just leads to dudes feeling entitled, like it's cool to be misogynist. Like, it's all a joke for me to be this, dick swinging asshole, blah, blah, blah. You're just a sensitive split tail. No, actually, I'm not. And the fact that you need to bring gender and sex into a sports context kind of tells me that you know very little about this sport, and you have to flip to other things in order to make yourself look superior here. I get that. I'm sorry that that happens, but Yeah. So
Some of us
as
think we're a little bit superior to other people.
as fun as Spit and Chicklets is for a lot of hockey fans and stuff, I just need everybody to remember that it comes from a place of hate, deep down and under. Like, they may make you laugh and chuckle because it all feels like a locker room, but that is the most toxic fucking environment. And I've been in some nasty, toxic places, and that's not something I would ever willingly want to deal with.
Can I say
So-
one thing to you, Rocket?
By all means.
To get the profile here.
Oh no! Oh no! I knew you were gonna do that.
I will say two things, and then we'll get out of here. The best tweet that I saw that sums up this whole Gord Miller, and I don't even want to say Gord Miller Dave Portnoy feud, because Gord Miller literally made a comment that was like, if I just said, "Oh, you know what?
Well, hold on. Let me ask you one thing.
Sure.
Gord Miller, respected broadcaster.
Yeah, TSN and NBC. He's made a lot of, he's called a lot of really big games. And okay, you reminded me. I'm going to say three things. So number one, best tweet I saw to sum up this whole situation. Lulu_Vaughn on Twitter. I'm going to shout her out because obviously she came up with this, and I doubt she's listening, but if you are, love the tweet. She said, this was her interpretation. Gord Miller. Barstool is misogynistic, racist, and xenophobic. Dave Portnoy. You attacked everything I'm about. ... So you admit you're misogynistic, racist, and xenophobic then? number two.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. That's the tweet.
Number two. There are a lot of fucking losers who are replying to her tweet saying, "Oh, your Twitter bio says wear a mask. That tells you everything you need to know about how stupid you are. And oh, you should lose some weight. And oh, mind your own business, woman." And it's like, aren't you proving Gord Miller's point?
Uh-huh.
And number three, to wrap up this whole schmozzle of a situation, is...
Yeah, we have to get onto the schlemiel.
Yeah. So I saw somebody on Twitter say, "Oh, Gord Miller's one to talk. He works for NBC, who allowed Mike Milbury and Jeremy Roenick to do what they've done."
I'm sorry, does Gord Miller do the hiring at NBC?
Does Gord Miller do the hiring, but also is Gord Miller either of those people?
Hey, now.
Yeah.
So, like, I try not to swear on the podcast, but good fucking God.
Fuck you.
Like, oh my God.
And just for those in the know, Sharks Audio Network, when you want to hire us and bring us on, we are able to do this without cussing, but sometimes it's fucking fun. Look, earlier this week, the Rangers absolutely raked the Flyers 9-0, and so based on that, I will give you a quick jerk segment called, wait, what?
Yes, in the 104-year history of the NHL, this has only happened twice. Mika Zibanejad had 6 points, 3 goals and 3 assists in one period. Not one game, not one day, 1 week, one period. The second period, to be specific. So, second time in the 104-year history of the NHL. Wow. There's your fun fact for the week.
I'm saying it. Hold on. What's going on? Wait, okay, now Felix is having a little fun in the chat here. If you want to hear about AJ's rant about social media, check out the Discord after, provided they're going to be on tonight. Oh, we going to be on, but which rant would you like to hear? I'm taking requests. Anyway, over this weekend, oh, crap, I'm a bad host if I don't do it.
Ooh, Barracuda.
I do have some things to say about the San Jose Barracuda. So, over this weekend, the San Jose Barracuda lost consecutive games to the Henderson Silver Knights, have lost 5 of their last 6. Currently, a record of 6. Oh, somebody check me on this, jerk. I want to say 6-6-4. Feels like
that sounds right. Let me double check.
I think so. Sitting third in the AHL Pacific, Joachim Blichfeld continues to lead the team in goals with 9, tied for the lead in points with Alex True at 12. 15 games played so far 16. Ryan Merkley for Merkley Watch, 7 points with 1 goal. So that's where we're at. Did I get that right?
Sounds right. Barracuda
Okay.
currently 5th in the Pacific Division.
Oh, they dropped down 2 spots?
As you said, 6-6-4. Wow. So 6 wins, 6 losses, 4 losses in overtime.
Hell of a day.
And well, dude, the Silver Knights and the Condors are
Killing
wagons this year. So
yeah.
you know,
All right.
And you know, the Bear. It's. I mean, Kevin will tell you there's obviously still time to get back on track, but you know, Barracuda have played 16 games and they're in 5th. The Henderson Silver Knights have played 1 less game and they're killing it. 13-2-0. So
this is kind of interesting from the
it's a lot of
chat.
separation.
Sharks Lass saying, a blue coat friend told me that April could see some Sharks fans at the tank for games. No details, though. Now, I know for a fact that earlier in this show, I haven't seen them comment in a while, that we have someone who is an employee who was in the chat. Can you confirm or deny? Not throwing anyone under the bus, but you know who you are. Although I imagine if they comment in the chat, that kind of does say who they are. So maybe you send me a DM, okay? Anyway.
If they did allow fans, just with how strict Santa Clara County is, I don't see it being more than 1,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Not only how strict the county has been, but also how over-the-top safe the Sharks have tried to be.
Yep.
So, yeah. I think it's going to be...
$100 a ticket.
Dude, I'd like... shit and egg roll that Brody and Hannon were at the tank this weekend.
Shit and egg roll.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't believe that happened. But anyway, it's one of our favorite segments. I know it's mine. Let's see. Oh, dude, hold on. Who? All right. Brycar75 in the chat says, AJ and I should have a beer and trash talk EK65 and Fanatics. Absolutely. 2 of my favorite topics, but you're probably not going to hear anything new because I have all the same complaints. So let's get on to it, baby. Tweet of the week. Oh, you love to see it. This one come from CJT Devil saying, in the year of our Lord, 2025, the San Jose Sharks will be paying $41.5 million to the following. A 35-year-old Logan Couture. A 33-year-old Evader Kane, probably meant Evander. A 34-year-old Erik Karlsson. A 40-year-old Brent Burns. A 37-year-old Marc-Edouard Vlasic. These 5 players are currently worth 1.3 wins above replacement combined. Now, the first thing I want to say when I look at this tweet is, how do you spell Marc-Edouard correctly but fuck up Evander? I don't know. That's a rhetorical talent there. But look, typos aside, we've all been there. We all make typos. But Jerk, this feels like a segment for you to like lose your shit over. So have at it.
No, I you know what? I think you're going to be disappointed
because you pussy.
Because and the point that you made prior is, you know, how do you know that all of these players will still be on the roster in 2025?
Mm-hmm.
Also, now obviously the COVID has
the Rona.
It's kind of messed everything up in terms of salary cap growth. But by 2025, I would say there's a remote possibility the salary cap may go up, even if it's $1 million. That's still a little bit to add to the grand total. So that's not really a redeeming factor at all. But
I feel like
something to chew on.
I feel like we're still going to be at a flat cap at that point.
I respectfully disagree with you.
Really? I don't know, man. We'll see.
There's no way you're gonna have
for 4 years, 4 straight years, flat cap. Yeah, I can see it.
You're gonna have 3.5 seasons of full capacity fans in the building, plus legal gambling, plus Seattle, plus new TV deal in the United States. There's no way the cap's not staying flat by 2025.
Okay. Let me rephrase. Maybe 2025 is the first year it goes up.
That's fair. But also, I mean, like looking at, I know obviously you say, well, you signed the contracts for this long, you should be looking this far out. I don't really subscribe to that idea because I can remember going into the Vegas expansion draft, like at the beginning of that season leading up to it, there were a couple things where it's like, oh, are we going to have room for this guy or that guy? What are we going to do?
Who?
And they weren't even on the team. So
there you go.
You can't. It's kind of hard to talk about how something is going to be in the future until you get to that point. We have no clue what's going to happen in 4 years. I know the two of you who I'm here with, obviously,
I don't know. I feel like the Sharks are going to miss the playoffs, but go ahead.
Famously remember a Future of the Sharks article in the Hockey News that listed Julius Bergman, who's not even in North America, as a top 4 defenseman for the Sharks. So that's why I don't really dabble with forecasting or predicting at all, because you have no clue what the hell is going to happen, especially in 4 years from now.
Keep talking.
I don't have anything to say. Rocket, your take on predicting things from 4 years from now that haven't happened yet.
Okay, so if things from 4 years don't happen now, but I think that they will, let me put it this way. I like to find the unlikely stories and try to focus on those. Like you guys are talking about how old all these people are going to be. What if Patty Marleau just stays around for the next 5 years? And what if he just turns into a Jaromir Jagr and just like, no,
okay,
I'm gonna stay.
This is awesome. This is fucking awesome. All right, so look.
I'm looking.
Because Jerk invoked the name, right? It's giveaway time, people. So if you understand, look, here's how to win. Go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, leave us a nice review, pleasant review. Be honest. Don't be a dick. But, be honest. If you sit there and say, hey, I miss Rocket's wigs, that's an honest assessment.
Yeah,
but
if you're a frat bro and you feel attacked by my rant, let us know.
See, there you go. But as long as you're honest, but leave us a nice review and 5 stars. We're gonna randomly pick a review, and like every week, I plan on doing this until the end of the season,
or until you run out of swag.
That too. I don't
end
think
of the season comes first.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. So we're gonna randomly pick a winner. Again, a couple weeks ago. I believe it was Richard and Kathy were 2 of our winners. Kathy, the last time I looked, was in the chat. Kathy, you and I need to get together so I can hand you your bobblehead. But Jerk invoked the name Julius Bergman. So, Alex Beltran 117 on the Twitter, you, kaboom, are going to get a This Is Sharks Territory sign signed by Julius, well, you can't see it, but yeah, signed by Bergman. Julius Bergman. You get this. Boom.
Prospected top 4 offenseman.
Yeah. Now, let me just say, a couple of you, I'm sure, are going to sit there and go, oh, that sucks. Like that, oh, what a shitty thing to win. Right? But I have a couple other ones, and they're fun, and we're going to, you know what? I'm going to make this as part of the gives as we move on. So look, here's a fan shark, or This Is Sharks Territory signed by Melker Karlsson, Dalton Prout. Who is that? Who the hell wore 70? Who the hell is that? Is that Artemi Knizev or something like that?
No, that may have been. Oh, geez, I don't know.
All right, you know what? That's a Kevin Lacey. That's a Kevin Lacey question.
Ask Kevin Lacey, because they recycle too many questions.
Yeah,
too many questions, too many numbers.
Yeah, so that's 70. It looks like it starts with an A. Anyway, but signed by Melker, Dalton Prout, world famous Sharks legend. Dalton Prout, played all of 2 games, had 3 concussions, played 2 games, and then of course Barclay Goodrow. Another one we're going to give is a 2019 This Is Sharks Territory Fan Fest sign by now, and the thing being, oh, you know what? Dude, avocado fight in the house. Dude, number 70, that's wow. Alex True. Even better.
Okay.
I can't believe I didn't know that.
Right? That's fantastic. Okay, but this one, This Is Sharks Territory Fan Fest signed by If you can read it, you probably can't. But Yoel Shellman, right? And finally, and I think this is probably going to be the one that we're really going to have to go hard on, a This Is Sharks Territory sign, signed by, I don't know if you can see it, but signed by Timo Meyer. So, boom. We're going to be doing those.
Yes,
But Alex Beltran, you have won a sign autographed by, what's his name? Julius? Julio?
Julius Bergman. Is Alex is he in the chat?
I'm not sure. I am unsure. So anyway, yeah, we spent way too long on that, but it was fun. Anyway,
can we wrap up talking so we can go to Discord and talk?
yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we're at with the giveaways. So another again, how we're doing it right now. It may change in the future, but right now, go to iTunes, leave us 5 stars, a nice review. Make sure to sign it with either your YouTube handle that you use here in the comments or a Twitter handle, some way for us to get a hold of you so we can contact you. Again, send off the bobblehead to the person in Las Vegas who was our watcher that won. I'm going to meet up. I'm going to meet up with Sharks Last soon. Hopefully sometime this week. We'll grab a coffee. I can hand her bobblehead. And then, I got to contact Alex to make sure that he gets his sign. And so we're going to probably next Friday or Saturday, I'm going to go through the reviews, see what's new. And if we have, multiple reviews, I'll go through, write everybody's name, throw it in a, jar and pull it out. Your entry will remain. If you write us a review two weeks ago and you haven't won, you're still going to be eligible down the line because you did leave us a review in 2021. So you're going to be involved in the draw every week. Just wanted to let you know that. We did our tweet of the week. I got to call this out. Look, Brett Hedican, you're a nice guy. But, dude, some of your calls are cringeworthy. We all remember, one of my favorites, of course, was the... oh boy, he wasn't able to execute there because he ran out of gas. And when you run out of gas, it's hard to execute. That was one. Or another one of my favorites, of course, was the Sharks need to decide: do they want to get their butts kicked or do they want to be a kick butter? But this weekend gave me possibly my new favorite that I would like to share with you now.
Well, the Blues are turning shorthanded opportunities into an opportunity. And they get opportunity right here on a 2-on-1.
So we're turning opportunities into an opportunity, and we just got an opportunity. Are you kidding me with this?
They had an opportunity to score on that opportunity, but it just wasn't an opportune time for them to score on their opportunity.
I heard you liked opportunities, so we put an opportunity on your opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Julius Bergman, who had 4 goals, 5 assists in 48 games in Finland this season. Totally NHL material for the Hockey News. There you go.
Back.
Yeah, I was gonna say I brought up that article and we were gonna have to call an ambulance for Kevin because he popped really hard for it.
Oh, dude. Okay, Avocado Flight on the chat. You're my hero. I noticed the Yoda speak more this week. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've been calling this out recently because it's been driving me crazy. This is something I believe started with Hetty, and it seems to be a contagious condition that has spread to Randy Hahn. How many times have you heard it? It's like, lost the puck in the corner, Gabriel did.
Yeah,
offside.
Heard it, yeah.
Offside, Tomas Hertl was. Like literally, it's getting to the point where it's like, Hetty, just do the Yoda voice. Like offside, he was. I mean, just do it. I'm so tired of this. With a huge shot on goal, Gabriel had. Stop it. Anyway.
Well, it could be worse, man. He could be Dr. Seuss. He cannot score a goal from there. He cannot score it anywhere. He cannot score it with his stick. He cannot score. It makes me sick.
Oh, okay, that's not where I thought you were ending, but yes.
Yeah. Damn it, show.
Yes. So anyway, oh geez, we are already over 90. Oh, bad host. Bad
Let's wrap
bad host. Bad host. Okay, so you can follow her at rbackhander76. You can follow him at hockey_jerk. You can follow me at AJ_strong. If you have any questions or topics you would like to hear us just shoot the shit about, hit us up at Pucknologists on Twitter. Famous last words it's time for. Rocket. Whip it out.
Just remember, it's a 56-game preseason. Did you?
Jerk, famous last words, pal.
Famous last words. If you would like to have a good chuckle, one of our buddies from the Let's Go Blues sphere of influence
Oh, shit.
whipped up a Twitter account at guru_turf. And you're probably only going to see some activity from it when the Sharks play the Blues, which will no longer happen this year. But after that Blues game on Friday, we were all kind of snapping it around a little bit, and there were some good ones thrown out there. So guru_turf if you want to have a good chuckle.
Dear Lord. And, hey, I noticed through the show, I think we might have peaked at like 70 live viewers at one point or whatever. How do we only have 23 thumbs up? Help us out. Let's build up this show, would you? Come on. Is it that difficult for a little click, a little thumb, if you will? Again,
build it up.
And again, do us a favor, subscribe if you would, please. It totally helps us out. Tell a friend, get someone else to subscribe. Love to try to build this channel. My famous last words, I haven't seen the final score, so I may be incorrect with this, but last time I looked, Joe Pavelski still leads the Dallas Stars with 14 goals, 27 points, and a +10. Now, that may have changed tonight, some of those numbers.
He did not score a goal tonight.
Did he draw a minus?
No word yet. Let's see. Drum roll. No goals. 1 assist. +1. 2 shots on goal. 1 hit. 1 giveaway.
So he drew an assist.
He had an assist, and he had an assist, was +1 and 56% on the faceoff.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. Everything that I just said, I need to re-say with the correct numbers. Joe Pavelski still leads the Kings with 14 goals, 28 points, and a +11.
Stop. I'm going to stop you right there. Joe Pavelski does not lead the Kings.
Oh, did I say Kings? Sorry. I was.
Yes.
Oh, yep. You're right. Okay. Joe Pavelski leads the Stars with 14 goals, 28 points, and a +11. Yeah. Let's not re-sign the old guy.
It begs
because 3 years is too long. Go ahead.
It begs the question: how good would his numbers be if he wasn't washed up?
You're right. And so finally, I think my famous last word is, besides the little Pavelski thing, just like in poker, if you're in a Discord channel and you can't figure out who the sucker is, chances are it's you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a review on iTunes. Find all of it on tealtownusa.com, including our latest check-in with Kevin Kurz, who did not mince words. He lays the honesty on the line. I don't know why Kevin is such a polarizing figure on Twitter. I guess some people get offended by honesty, but it is what it is. Remember to check out our After Dark post-game show following every single Sharks game, and that's it. That's our show. Again, apologies to our affiliates and Matt Damon. We were not able to make time for you. Maybe next week, with any luck. Thanks so much for watching. We'll try to keep it to 60 minutes next week, but it's probably not going to happen. But thanks again for watching and listening. We will see you all next week. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and we will see you all on Discord.